In the spring of 1943, the Allies launched a plan so strange, so daring and so unbelievable that many historians dismissed it as fiction. A single dead man, a briefcase filled with carefully crafted lies, and a deception so perfect it fooled Adolf Hitler himself. This is not a myth, not a rumor, not a Hollywood creation. This is the true story of how British intelligence used imagination, misdirection, and a corpse to change the course of the Second World War. This is Operation Mincemeat. Now let us go back to where it all began. By early 1943, the Allies had pushed German and Italian forces out of North Africa. Their next step was obvious. They needed to invade Europe through the south. The most logical target was Sicily. It was closer. It was strategic. It was the gateway to the Italian mainland. But there was a serious problem. The Germans expected the Allies to land there. Hitler already reinforced Sicily because it was the most obvious place for an invasion. If the Allies attacked Sicily directly, they would face devastating casualties. The question was simple. How do you invade the most obvious target without the enemy realizing you are coming? The answer was deception. Inside British intelligence was a secret group called the 20 Committee. Its job was to mislead the Germans using double agents, false messages, and elaborate tricks. Two officers in this committee would create one of the boldest plans of the war. Flight Lieutenant Charles Commandelli, imaginative, eccentric, and full of unusual ideas. And Naval Intelligence Officer Ewan Montagu, calm, organized, and brilliant with detail. Together, they crafted a plan that sounded impossible. They would use a dead body to deliver false invasion plans to the Germans. At first, the idea seemed insane. But the more they thought about it, the more it made sense. If the Germans found a body washed ashore, if that body carried secret papers, if those papers looked authentic, the Germans might believe the information was genuine, and Hitler might move his forces away from Sicily. The plan needed one thing: a believable body. Finding the right body was extremely difficult. The man had to look like someone who drowned. He needed to have no obvious injuries. He had to be unclaimed, with no family to question where he truly came from. In January 1943, a suitable body was found. A man named Glyndwr Michael had died in London. His death was tragic but quiet, leaving little trace. British intelligence took custody of the body in complete secrecy. His identity would be replaced with someone new. They created a fictional officer of the Royal Marines. His name would be Major William Martin. But a name alone was not enough. He needed a believable life. To fool German intelligence, Major William Martin needed personal belongings that made him feel real. Montagu's team created an entire life story. They gave him pocket litter, the small, everyday items people carry without thinking. He received a photograph of a fiancée named Pam, love letters from her written with emotional detail, a receipt for an engagement ring, a letter from his father, an overdraft notice from his bank, a ticket stub from a theater, a bill for a new shirt, a membership card from a London club. Every detail was intentional. Every item helped build a believable life. German intelligence would examine everything. So the British created a life that could withstand the closest inspection. Now it was time to create the deception itself. The goal was to convince Hitler that the Allies would invade Greece and Sardinia, not Sicily. The British prepared several secret letters. One came from Lieutenant General Archibald Nye, a very high-ranking figure. In the letter, he referenced Allied plans to attack Greece. He spoke casually, as if revealing real strategic concerns. This letter was perfect. It was just misleading enough, but not exaggerated. It felt real. These documents were placed into a briefcase. The briefcase was handcuffed to Major Martin. The deception package was complete. But now, the British needed the body to be discovered in the right place. Spain was chosen as the delivery point. Although Spain was officially neutral, Many officials quietly cooperated with Germany. If the body washed ashore in Spain, the documents would likely be passed to German intelligence. On April 30th, 1943, the British submarine HMS Seraph surfaced near the coast of Spain. The crew handled the body with respect. They placed Major Martin into the water. A life jacket kept him floating just enough for discovery. The waves carried the body toward the Spanish shore. Fishermen found him. Spanish authorities took the briefcase. The documents began moving through official channels. The British waited anxiously. Would the Germans believe the deception? Spanish intelligence quietly shared the documents with Nazi agents. German experts analyzed every piece of paper. They checked the signatures. They studied the ink. They compared the handwriting. They reviewed the personal items. Their conclusion: everything looked genuine. The documents were sent directly to Adolf Hitler. And he believed them. Hitler became convinced that the Allies would invade Greece. He ordered reinforcements to the wrong locations. Troops, tanks, aircraft, and supplies were moved far from Sicily. The deception had worked. On July 10, 1943, the Allies launched the real invasion of Sicily. Because of Operation Mincemeat, the German defenses were significantly weaker. The landings were far less costly. The campaign moved quickly across the island. Within weeks, Sicily fell to the Allies. The Italian government collapsed. Benito Mussolini was overthrown. And the path into mainland Europe opened. A dead man carrying a briefcase of lies had helped change the course of history. Even after the war, the Germans remained unaware that they had been deceived. For decades, the details of Operation Mincemeat remained secret. When the files were finally declassified, historians could hardly believe the creativity and precision of the plan. Today, the grave of Major William Martin lies in Spain. But beneath the name is the body of Glyndwr Michael, an ordinary man whose death became part of an extraordinary mission. Operation Mincemeat stands as one of the greatest deception operations in military history. It succeeded not through force, but through imagination. It proved that sometimes the most powerful weapon in war is a story. A story so carefully crafted that even the enemy believes it. And in this case, that story helped save thousands of lives, opened the door to the liberation of Europe, and shaped the outcome of the Second World War. Operation Mincemeat was daring. It was creative. It was unbelievable. And yet it worked.